A question echoes through the void. Do creatures of myth exist lurking as apex predators? His name is Chung-Chi, and his life was a pipe dream, until a nightmare descended under the full moon. It was a night of chaos that cost him everything. He's left with a single agonizing question: why? But in his darkest moment, a stranger arrives. He offers an invitation to join the demon hunters. A new path, a chance for vengeance. But from the darkness, a different voice answers. A pillar of fire crashes down from the heavens. It carries a message. Humans are not the true jury, and a vow that his rage will make all demons fear. The scene shifts to another ominous moonlit night. A young man runs desperately through the forest. He's white-haired, terrified, and running for his life, because a shadowy figure is hunting him from the trees. A woman in black lands, drawing a crackling blade. She unleashes a blinding slash of energy that shatters the ground where the boy just stood. He's thrown back by the force of the blow, and the hunter stands over him victorious. He pleads for his life, but she's unmoved, declaring that his time is up. His final moments reflect in his terrified eyes. But then, a scream shatters the silence, as our boy is jolted awake by a frying pan.
His sister hands him a delivery order.
And he grumbles, clearly not a morning person. The whole terrifying chase was just a dream. He introduces himself as Chung-Chi, an average teenager, whose delivery route takes him to a dark, abandoned area. He finds the address, a place that looks completely uninhabitable. Still, he gets off his scooter and calls out for the customer. But a strange sound from the trees puts him on edge. He cautiously reaches into the bushes to find who's there, and comes face to face with a monstrous, three-eyed wolf. He recoils in terror, the delivery completely forgotten. His only instinct is to turn and run for his life. But he's already surrounded by a pack of the beasts. Chung-Chi can only curse as he runs for his life. He sprints through the woods, the beast hot on his heels. A horde of snarling, three-eyed monsters closes the distance. But just as they're about to pounce, someone drops in. Two women in black land before him, blades drawn. He stops dead in his tracks, utterly confused by their arrival. He desperately tries to warn them of the monsters behind him. But the lead hunter just tells him to move, her crackling blade ready to unleash a powerful style. That's when it hits him. This is the woman from his dream. She unleashes a technique called the lightning dragon, and Chung-Chu is thrown back by the sheer force of it. A massive explosion of electrical energy rips through the forest, sending the delivery boy crashing hard to the ground. He asks what those creatures were, and she gives a simple answer: demons. The ground is now littered with the remains of the wolf pack. Chung-Cha is in total disbelief, arguing that demons aren't real. The hunter ignores his protests, kneeling to inspect one of the bodies. She seems to recognize a scent on it before turning her gaze to him. But she has no time for his questions, coldly brushing him aside. He points at the hunter, telling her to scram. He tries to argue that she's the one in danger here, but she simply tells him she's letting him go, and he should take the chance. Just then, a new voice expresses surprise at a hunter's presence. A massive alpha wolf emerges, vowing to feast on her. It's a grotesque beast formed from the fallen wolf pack. The monster taunts her, promising a cruel fate, and in a blur of motion it lunges forward. The hunter turns, a flicker of surprise on her face, and Chung-Chu can only watch in absolute horror, but a different voice screams a desperate warning. The hunter's eyes widen as she finally reacts. The alpha wolf lunges, intent on tearing her apart, but in a flash, someone shoves her out of the way. A sickening sound echoes as the attack finds its mark. The white-haired boy from the dream has taken the blow for her. The hunter stares, completely stunned by his sacrifice. She stumbles backward, thrown off balance by his push. Her gaze is fixed on the very person she was hunting in the dream. The boy looks down at the massive claw in his chest, trying to speak. He looks at the hunter, a flicker of recognition in his eyes. She stares back, completely unable to process what's happening. She didn't even sense his approach until it was too late. The boy feels his life slipping away, the scent of death in the air. He coughs, the massive claw still embedded deep in his chest. A memory surfaces of a promise he made to his little sister. He recalls her disappointment, a promise he couldn't keep. With a vicious tug, the alpha wolf rips its claw from his body. He thinks of his sister again, wondering if she would miss him. The force of the blow sends him hurtling through the air. The alpha wolf lets out a deafening howl, unleashing a wave of pure force. The hunter realizes the intel was wrong. This demon is far stronger than anticipated. It descends from above, a terrifying silhouette against the full moon. She tightens her grip on her blade, preparing for a desperate counterattack. She knows she needs to keep her distance if she wants any chance of winning. She prepares to unleash another powerful technique, the 18th style of the night. unleashing a flurry of crimson energy slashes called Death's Thunderous Blaze. But the beast simply scoffs, dismissing her attack as useless. It closes the distance in an instant, its claws ready to strike. Her attack finds its mark, ensnaring the monster's head in a web of energy. Her eyes widen in utter disbelief. The beast's counterforce sends her flying backward. She hits the ground, realizing she was far too slow. A blur of motion streaks across the full moon. Before she can recover, a massive claw descends. It lifts her effortlessly into the air. The alpha wolf taunts her, wondering where to begin its feast. She cries out in agony as its grip tightens on her head. Her vision fades as she wonders if this is how she dies. But the monster suddenly pauses, sensing something amiss. The hunter struggles in its grip, but the beast simply refuses to let go. But a new power surges through Chang-Chi as his fatal wound begins to heal. The alpha wolf turns, shocked that the boy is even standing. He grips his shirt, fueled by the promises he couldn't keep. The monster taunts him, wondering how his sister would mourn him. But that thought only fuels Chang-Chi's strange recovery. From the ground, the hunter recognizes a familiar scent emanating from the boy. The alpha wolf's eyes narrow with pure, unadulterated rage. It abandons the hunter and lunges at Chang-Chi instead. Its claws extended for the final decisive blow. But Chang-Chi's eyes are filled with a cold resolve. He catches the monster's claw with a single hand. The hunter and the beast can only stare in disbelief. He reminds the beast of his vow, that he has no intention of dying tonight. With a surge of newfound strength, he overpowers the demon. The alpha wolf can't comprehend what's happening, as a pillar of golden flame erupts from Chang-Chi's body, forcing the hunter to brace against the shockwave. She's completely stunned by the power of the delivery boy. The hunter can only stare, her mind reeling from the display. Chang-Chi stands alone in the rain, a beacon of golden light. The alpha wolf is gone, and the air crackles with an overwhelming energy. She wonders if she's looking at some kind of deity. The fatal wound on his chest has completely vanished. Even Chang-Chi is baffled by this sudden surge of power. An awkward silence hangs between the hunter and the newly supercharged kid. She finally asks the question on both their minds. How did he do it? She introduces herself as Lu Jiji, a demon hunter sent to investigate. But Chang-Chi has no answers, just a mysterious flame in his hand. He asks about the demon and this demon hunter title. She notes his arrogant tone, her hand falling limp. Before she promptly passes out from sheer exhaustion, she explains that the demon he faced was a dangerous one. She begins a history lesson, revealing that humans are not alone. Another species exists, born of nature's cruelty. Demons. To fight back, humanity gave rise to the demon hunters, and among them a rare few ascend to become deities. She tells Chang-Chi that his power resembles a skill called God's breath, a term that leaves our boy completely baffled. She considers his power, a thoughtful expression on her face. She seems to come to a tentative conclusion. It's a skill used by a divine race, but she admits she's never seen it herself. But the explanation is cut short as Chang-Chi's eyes widen in alarm. A strange sensation overtakes him, catching Lu Jiji's attention. He suddenly leaps away, leaving her calling after him. He gives his name Chang-Chi as he vanishes into the night. The golden markings on his skin begin to fade as he flees. He senses that something is terribly wrong with his body. He races through the forest, heading back toward the city lights. He arrives at a scene of chaos and destruction. A crowd has gathered to watch the aftermath. But someone desperately pushes his way through. It's the white-haired boy looking frantic and out of breath. His eyes widen in horror at what he sees. 2 stretchers are wheeled out carrying the victims. The sight completely shatters his composure, and his legs give out from under him. He collapses to the wet pavement, overwhelmed by grief. His hand reaches out as he whispers a name in despair. Elsewhere, a shadowy figure confirms what they've sensed, the scent of a deity. They report that their long-awaited target has finally returned, and with that confirmation, they give the order to begin the next phase. Meanwhile, the white-haired boy is lost in a memory of a classroom, a memory that's shattered by the sharp clang of a ladle. His father scolds him for a late delivery, a familiar argument from the past. But the anger fades, replaced by a gentle hand on his head. The memory becomes a ghost, his father's last wish to protect his sister. He snaps back to the present, a raw scream tearing from his throat. The scene shifts to a quiet hospital room, where a voice calls for her brother. Chang-Chi jolts awake in a hospital bed, frantically asking about his sister and father. His sister Qing is just relieved to see him conscious. But when he asks about their dad, she can't find the words. She breaks down, confessing that their father is gone, lost while trying to save her. He pulls her into a hug, trying to offer comfort. He doesn't feel himself. With a cold fury in his eyes, he demands to know exactly what happened. She recounts the horror of the previous night when a group of monsters attacked. Their father, glowing with a strange power, recited an incantation and charged in to protect her. But he was outnumbered, and in a final, desperate act, he sacrificed himself to destroy them all. She reveals their father's last request, to find a person named Lu Chi-wan. But their moment of grief is cut short by unexpected visitors. 2 men in uniform enter, claiming to be an investigation team. But Chung-Chi's eyes widen, sensing that something is terribly wrong. He spots a strange, inhuman marking on the lead officer's neck. He leaps into a defensive stance, shielding his sister from the men. The officer just smirks, his disguise apparently blown. His arm transforms into a thorny whip as he vows to kill them both. Chung-Chi reacts instantly, pulling his sister out of harm's way. The monster seems impressed by his agility, questioning his identity. He then taunts Chung-Chi, revealing he was the one who killed their father. The monster dares him to do something about it. Chung-Chi's face twists with rage, his sister cowering behind him. The demon lets out a manic laugh, relishing their fear. A flurry of thorny whips descends upon the 2 siblings. Chung-Chi grabs a kitchen knife, ready to defend them both. But the demon just smirks, telling him resistance is useless. A flicker of shock crosses Chung-Chi's face. The vines move too quickly, ensnaring them both. He's lifted off the ground before he can even react. The knife falls from his hand as they're both hoisted into the air. Chung-Chi can only stare in helpless shock. The demon gloats that he's about to reunite their family. But just then, the hospital window shatters into pieces. The vines are severed as a figure crashes into the room. A polished shoe lands firmly on the windowsill. A man in a suit announces his perfectly timed arrival. But the scene dissolves into a nightmarish vision of a monster, and Chung-Chi jolts awake with a terrified scream. He gasps for air, his heart pounding in his chest. He looks around, completely disoriented, as a voice asks if he's up. A man in a suit sits calmly at his bedside. Chung-Chi lunges forward, demanding to know where his sister is. But Qing appears in the doorway, asking what he's doing. His eyes widen as he recognizes the person with her. He rushes over, making sure his sister is unharmed, but his gaze is fixed on the other woman in the room. He recognizes the familiar black outfit all too well. It's Lu Gigi, who calmly asks why she can't be in her own home. Qing explains that she's the one who's been taking care of them, and the man he just attacked gives him a condescending pat on the head. The man in the suit immediately puts Chung-Chi in a headlock, demanding to know how he met his daughter, Lu Gigi. He finally lets go, blaming his overprotective reflexes. Sure, buddy. He introduces himself as Lu Chi-wan, a battle buddy of their father. He explains that he and their father, Chung-san, were demon hunters, and drops a bombshell. Chung-san wasn't their biological father. He then reveals the truth of Chung-Chi's power. He has the blood of a demigod. Overwhelmed, Chung-Chi grabs his sister, ready to flee from the crazy old man. But Lu Chi-wan's voice stops him in his tracks with a grave warning. He tells them that leaving now is a death sentence, as demons are hunting them. He reminds Chung-Chi that their father died for them, and his final wish was for him to protect his sister. Lu Chi-wan tells him that taking a chance is better than certain death. With a new resolve, Chung-Chi agrees, asking what he needs to do. The answer is the Demon Hunters Academy, where his birth mother once studied. Lu Gigi explains that it's a training ground for orphans and hunters' children, but their tour is interrupted by a massive fireball hurtling toward them. Lu Gigi reacts instantly, shouting a warning as red energy crackles. She leaps forward, deflecting the fiery projectile with a blast of her own. She explains that the school encourages sparring to build experience. She warns him that in this place, the weak can die at any moment. But Chung-Chi's attention is already fixed on a new threat. Another student unleashes a powerful energy blast during a spar. He screams for his sister to move, shoving her out of the way. Qing is thrown to the ground, narrowly avoiding the attack. The student who fired the shot realizes her terrible mistake. Both Qing and Lu Gigi can only cry out his name in horror, as Chung-Chi takes the full devastating impact of the blast. He collapses to the ground, smoking and severely wounded. His sister stares, completely frozen by the horrific sight. Lu Gigi confronts the attacker, who stammers an excuse. But on the ground, his fingers begin to twitch. Qing calls out his name as the others stare in shock. A golden silhouette rises from the dissipating smoke. Lu Gigi's eyes widen, a look of disbelief on her face. Chung-Chi stands tall, his body wreathed in golden flames. The other students can only wonder what's happening. She recognizes the aura from that night in the forest. His eyes burn with an otherworldly golden light. The onlookers are left completely speechless by the transformation. He turns to the attacker, his voice devoid of all emotion. The girl can only stammer an apology, terrified by his transformation. But he's already past judgment, a flame igniting in his hand. He unleashes a torrent of fire, his expression cold and unforgiving. The other students can only scream a desperate warning to dodge. As a massive wave of fire consumes the training ground, the attacker screams in defiance, asking what more he wants from her. But her words are lost as she and the others flee the inferno. Changchi watches them run, questioning their sudden change of heart. His glowing eyes narrow with a deep-seated contempt. He launches himself into the air, a fiery comet of pure rage. His voice echoes with disgust for their hypocrisy, and he slams back down, shattering the training ground. The other students are sent flying by the sheer force of the impact. Lu Jiji warns the attacker that Changchi has lost all control. Qing can only cry out for her brother, terrified by what he's become. The attacker tries to rally the others, saying they must suppress him or die. But they're frozen in place, sensing the terrifying dark energy he's emitting. Another student agrees, urging them to act before the trainers arrive. With a unified shout, they decide to take him down together. But Changchi just scoffs, vowing that not a single one of them will escape. Elsewhere, two academy officials discuss the arrival of Ling Robing's children. Their conversation is cut short by a sudden tremor shaking the building. The woman seems unimpressed, commenting on an old acquaintance's return. But the instructor is horrified, sensing an energy far too powerful for any student. Back on the training grounds, the students are engulfed in a massive, fiery explosion. One of them desperately calls for all ice and water users to attack together. They unleash a combined torrent of elemental power against Changchi's inferno. But their attacks are useless, completely ineffective against the golden flames. Changchi stands unharmed, declaring that the warm-up is officially over. A pair of boots descends as the students are thrown into disarray. They're all pinned to the ground, unable to move against his power. Changchi's voice is cold as he promises to burn them all to ash. The attacker can only curse, wondering how things went so wrong. The other students cry out in terror, realizing their fate is sealed. But just as he's about to strike, a blur of motion intervenes. It's his sister Qing, wrapping her arms around him and begging him to stop. She asks if he's forgotten their family, questioning if he's become a demon too. As her words hit him, the pressure lifts and the students collapse to the ground. The golden flame in Changchi's eyes begins to flicker and fade. Her plea breaks through his rage, the other students collapsing around them. The golden light fades as he whispers his sister's name, returning to his senses. The two academy officials finally arrive, realizing they were too late to intervene. The woman immediately orders a complete memory wipe of the incident. She decides they must use a special item to suppress his power. Later, as the sun sets, the siblings are brought to the director's office. The director, Wang Menglu, offers them a warm welcome. Qing nudges her brother to say something, but he remains silent. She takes the lead, politely introducing herself and the stoic Changchi. The director tries to entice him, mentioning his mother once walked these halls. Changchi demands answers, but the director has a condition: pass the hunter's exam. She wishes him luck, calling the academy their only safe haven. She then presents them with a small box, revealing 2 ornate rings inside. The siblings are taken aback, Qing admiring their beauty. The director explains they were cherished items belonging to their parents. She pushes the box forward, urging them to accept their inheritance. The siblings share a look, unsure of what to make of this. Changchi takes the box, his expression unreadable. He slips one of the rings onto his finger, revealing intricate, glowing symbols etched into its surface. Changchi stares at the ring, wondering about its connection to his mother. The director watches him with a heavy, unreadable expression. A flashback reveals the cleanup crew dealing with the aftermath of his rampage. The instructor questions her decision to give the siblings the rings, but the director explains their duty is to protect humanity at all costs. She reveals the academy is hidden from the world by a powerful dome, but centuries ago a demigod student lost control, shattering that barrier. The breach allowed demons to swarm in, causing catastrophic losses. To prevent a repeat, a special ring was forged to suppress such power. The director concludes that for everyone's safety, she has no other choice. Meanwhile, somewhere else, a strange, jet-powered bird soars through the sky. It descends into a barren wasteland, landing before a cloaked figure. The bird reports another surge of power from Changchi. Its masked master seems pleased, ordering his servant to keep watching. He then gives a new command: find a way to destroy the rings, and let the boy's power grow until it completely overwhelms him. He clenches his fist, vowing that no one will escape his plan. Back at the academy, Changchi asks an instructor about his sister. The instructor, Xinglin, introduces himself and leads him to his new dorm, but a sinister red glint in his eye hints at a hidden agenda. The instructor gives him a harsh lecture about a rule against fraternizing. With a sharp command, he sends Chang-Chi off to his dorm. Our boy just scoffs at the childish rules as he reaches his door. He flips the light switch, ready to meet his new roommates. But the room remains completely dark, and he wonders if he's alone. A sudden feeling of unease puts him on high alert. He questions why the lights would be broken in such an orderly place. Before a grotesque, glowing green monster lunges from the shadows. It sinks its teeth into his arm in a vicious surprise attack. Chang-Chi can only recoil in disgust, covered in the creature's slime. He recoils in disgust, trying to get the creature off him. With a furious shout, he kicks the slimy monster away. He scrambles for the door, desperately trying to escape. He can't understand how a demon got inside the academy's walls, but his heart sinks as he realizes the door is locked. He's trapped. He turns to face the creature, which floats menacingly in the empty dorm. The monster just grins, drooling a toxic-looking slime. With no escape, Chang-Chi's fear turns to resolve, vowing to destroy it. He remembers Lu Qiwan's warning that he would be hunted, and with a defiant roar, he decides to stop running and fight back. He realizes that even if he runs, they will always find him. So he takes a defiant step forward, asking why he should be the one to flee. He braces himself as the green monster lunges forward, but the creature is too fast, sending him flying with a powerful blow. He hits the floor hard, completely outmatched by the demon's strength. The monster lets out a smug, toothy grin and waddles closer to its downed prey. Chang-Chi curses under his breath, his hand brushing against a heavy object. A spark of pure fury ignites in his eyes. He grabs the candlestick and swings it with everything he has. The heavy candlestick smashes directly into the creature's eye. With a furious scream, Chang-Chi abandons his weapon for his fists. He lands a solid punch, sending green slime flying. The force of the blow sends the monster reeling backward. He follows up with a powerful kick, refusing to give it an inch. Every strike is fueled by the need to protect his sister. Every blow is for the father he lost to these monsters. And with a cold fury, he vows to send this demon back to hell. He unleashes a relentless flurry of punches, screaming for it to die. His fist sinks deep into the creature's slimy flesh, but he stops, a look of utter confusion on his face. The monster dissolves into a puddle of green goo under his foot, leaving behind a tiny, harmless-looking frog. Suddenly, the lights in the room flicker on, and a voice calls out from the now open doorway. A blonde student smirks, asking if he enjoyed the welcome party. He scoffs, calling Chang-Chi a good-for-nothing pretender. Chang-Chi's eyes narrow with a cold, simmering rage. He clenches his fist, his anger finally boiling over, and he returns the gift with a punch straight to the jaw. The blonde student screams in disbelief, clutching his bruised jaw. But Chang-Chi is already on him, grabbing him by the collar. He slams the bully against a shelf with a resounding crash. He gives a cold warning that next time it will be worse, leaving the bully to gasp for air as he turns and walks away. The next day, students gather in a large hall buzzing with conversation. He finds his sister, who asks where he was last night. She then mentions a rumor that an instructor is bringing a demon to class, but a new voice cuts in, calling them ignorant newcomers. The siblings turn to face the green-haired girl, demanding to know who she is. She calls them country bumpkins, her tone dripping with disdain. With a smug grin, she confirms she's talking about them. Chang-Chi warns her not to push him, but Qing tries to hold him back. The girl just taunts him, daring the trash to make a move. But a booming voice cuts through the tension, scolding them for squabbling. An instructor explains that they are all either orphans or hunters' children. He gives them a harsh warning: succeed, or return to a useless life. Just then, a large, covered cage is wheeled into the center of the hall. The students are surprised to see a small, almost cute creature inside. But Chang-Chi just scoffs, boasting that he could fight 10 of them at once. He tries to reassure his sister, saying the demon is safely contained. The instructor announces that today's lesson will be a close study of the creature. But Chang-Chi remains completely unimpressed by the display. Suddenly, the creature's eye glows with a malevolent red light. It lunges at the bars, its cute facade completely gone. The students recoil in terror as the guards struggle to control the cage. The demon thrashes wildly, its roars echoing through the hall. But a sudden arc of golden energy flashes through the air, leaving Chang-Chi and the others completely stunned. The creature cries out as the electricity courses through its body. The creature is left twitching inside its cage. The other students just laugh, mocking its futile struggle. A blonde student casually subdues it with a jolt of electricity. An instructor explains that despite its size, the demon is dangerous. But the word demon sends a chill down Chang-Chi's spine. It triggers a horrifying flashback to the night his father was killed. The blonde student dismisses the crowd, telling them the show is over. The creature is left a smoking heap on the floor of its cage. Chang-Chi can only stare, thinking it got exactly what it deserved. Later, the same blonde student stands before them as their new instructor. He explains that some of them may have skills from their hunter parents, but he's disappointed in their complete lack of vigilance. A student argues that the creature posed no real threat. The instructor slams his hands down, telling them all to grow up. He warns them that underestimating a demon is a fatal mistake. It's a lesson passed down for generations, one they must never forget. He then calls out Chang-Chi and his sister by name. With a stern expression, he tells them to come with him. He explains that since they arrived late, they're behind on the fundamentals, and they're being assigned to a special teacher who hasn't taken a student in a decade. He explains that the academy's wisest elder, Qi Lao, has agreed to train them. He knocks on a sliding door, announcing their arrival, but they walk in on the wise elder screaming at a video game. The instructor takes his leave as Qi Lao dismisses him without a glance. The siblings can only stare, completely horrified by the scene. He finally tosses his game aside, inviting them to sit down. The two of them sit stiffly, unsure of what to expect. He then casually tosses them each a can of soda. He opens his own drink, remarking that their father was a good kid. He then offers to answer any questions they might have. The siblings listen intently, ready for the truth. Qing finally asks the question that's been haunting them. Qi Lao begins his tale, confirming that God and demons are very real. He speaks of an ancient time when a single god ruled over all. But the demons, born with incredible power, grew resentful of this order. They began a rebellion, unleashing their fury upon the human race. God could not stand the carnage and waged a great war against them, and humanity, refusing to be victims, joined the divine battle. The bravest of these humans became the first hunters, blessed with heavenly power. Their souls were bound by a contract to forever protect the three worlds. He takes a long swig of his soda and concludes his epic tale of gods and monsters. Qing is captivated, but Chang-Chi recognizes the story. Qi Lao explains that the first step is mastering dark qi, a process that takes months. Chang-Chi asks how they can possibly become hunters, but the elder reveals there's a special shortcut just for them. Elsewhere, the academy is buzzing with rumors about the new kids. A student confirms that the trials they're taking are impossible to pass. His classmate leans in, eager to know what the trials entail. He pauses for a moment, recalling the challenge. He explains the 5 trials are split into tests of the 5 senses. Completing them allows a student to master their control of dark qi. One student admits he failed the first trial, even after a year of training. His classmate just scoffs, calling him weak for failing. The other students agree, calling the trials a crutch for untalented trash. Elsewhere, the blonde bully complains about the obnoxious new kid. He remembers how Chang-Chi broke his illusion with pure strength, wondering if he might actually succeed. Meanwhile, Qi Lao has the siblings hauling his junk, calling it treasure. Qing and another girl can only watch with weary expressions. Chang-Chi, buried under a pile of stuff, questions if this is all really necessary. He tells them to pack their bags until they're overflowing. He warns them that without supplies, they'll have nothing but air to eat. He explains the first trial is a test of endurance with no escape but surrender. Qing asks if a previous student who brought 5 days of food managed to pass. The elder just laughs, revealing the student failed from boredom and overeating. Qing tries to clarify the real objective, asking how long they must last. But Qi Lao reveals it's not about endurance at all. The true goal of the first trial is to escape the room. Just then, another student arrives to announce that the room is ready. With a sly grin, Qi Lao declares that their test is about to begin. They lead him to a large, featureless room, but just before he enters, the instructor stops him. Qi Lao offers a final cryptic clue about using his eyes. "Thanks for the riddle, Yoda." And with a forceful shove, he sends Chang-Chi on his way. Our boy is left completely baffled by the contradictory advice. He curses and sprints through the doorway anyway. He takes a single step into the darkness, and the door slams shut behind him. He turns to find the room has completely disappeared. He's left standing in a void, utterly disoriented. He steels himself, his only goal to escape this room. But he's in a sensory vacuum, unable to see or hear a thing. With no other options, he decides to just pick a direction and make a mad dash for the exit. But 10 minutes later, he's run for miles without hitting a single wall. He briefly wonders if he's on some kind of cosmic treadmill before dismissing the thought. He realizes this must be a space created by dark qi, and it gives him an idea: to fight fire with fire, or in this case, weird energy with weird energy. He closes his eyes, focusing inward to call upon his own power. Meanwhile, his instructors watch on a monitor, one in shock and the other just enjoying the show with some snacks. The instructor panics, asking how Chang-Chi can still use his power. On his finger, the ring begins to glow with a faint blue light. But instead of suppressing his power, it seems to be refining it. Qilao just smiles, relieved that the ring's true ability has finally activated. Qing voices her concern, but the elder tells her to have a little faith. He then casually tells her that peeking would be cheating. But he admits that sending them in blind is a bit unfair, so he offers to give her a summary of the trial, much to her delight. She immediately asks why he didn't give Chang-Chi the same courtesy. The elder just gives a sly grin, clearly enjoying his little game. He suddenly remembers something important he forgot to mention. He explains the trial is designed to strip away all senses, forcing the student to perceive the dark qi within the room. But he warns that such deprivation can lead to hallucinations and lasting mental damage. Qing immediately worries about her brother's safety. The elder reassures her that they're constantly monitoring the situation. Still, she can't help but stare at the sealed room with concern. She can only hope that Chang-Chi will be okay. Inside, Chang-Chi struggles, unable to summon his power. He recalls the elder's cryptic advice, trying to decipher its meaning. He wonders if he's trapped in an endless sea of darkness. A thought strikes him. Perhaps he's just not looking hard enough. He focuses his gaze, trying to pierce the veil of the void. He strains his eyes until they're bloodshot and tearing up. But his efforts are completely fruitless. He collapses in frustration, the silence and timelessness driving him mad. But the stress reminds him of his sister, Qing. He recalls comforting her when she was afraid of the dark, promising to protect her. That memory hardens his resolve. Becoming a hunter is the only way. He decides to try summoning that strange golden power once more. He focuses, and a golden light begins to emanate from his ring. The energy surrounds him, filling the void with shimmering particles. But just as quickly as it appeared, the light vanishes, leaving him confused. He grits his teeth, determined to summon it again. But this time he catches a fleeting glimpse of something else. He reaches out, certain he saw a path in the darkness. And in that moment, he finally understands the elder's riddle. He realizes he can't rely on his eyes, but on a different kind of sense. A faint blue trail appears, and he wonders if this is the way out. But he can't shake the feeling that this is far too simple. He reaches out, his fingers brushing against the ethereal blue light. A sliver of light cuts through the darkness before him, and he steps through a doorway, finally free from the void. He looks around, completely stunned that he's already out. His sister Qing calls out his name, rushing to his side. The instructors can only stare, shocked that he passed so quickly. She congratulates him, but he seems distant, his mind elsewhere. With a determined smile, Qing says it's her turn to get ready. But Chang-Chi stops her, telling her not to take the 5 trials. She looks back at him, completely baffled by his sudden warning. He tells her she doesn't have to take the trials, that he'll be the one to protect her. He reminds her of her fear of the dark, trying to dissuade her from the first test. But through her tears, Qing declares that they will become hunters together. Her sudden resolve leaves Chang-Chi completely stunned. She's haunted by the memory of their father's sacrifice, and she refuses to be a burden, to be protected while others fall. Her words finally break through his overprotective shell. He closes his eyes, a gentle smile spreading across his face. He pulls her into a hug, whispering an apology. He finally sees her as an equal, promising they'll face this new path together. He shouts a last-minute piece of advice to his sister, telling her to use her dark qi to find the path, which earns him a scolding for teaching her to cheat. But Qing just smiles, taking a confident step into the darkness. Her expression is one of pure, unwavering focus. She finds herself in the same disorienting void as her brother. She immediately begins to analyze the situation, trying to understand the mechanics of the room. But then she senses something in the darkness, a flicker of energy that she reaches out to find. Her fingers brush against a wall of dark qi, and she wonders why it's not everywhere. In the control room, the instructors are stunned by her natural talent. She quickly deduces that this is a maze made of dark qi. She understands that touching the walls will send her back to the start. If too much of her body touches the energy, she'll be reset, leaving only a narrow 1-meter path to follow. But instead of looking for clues, she decides to trust her instincts. She realizes the trial isn't about escaping, but mastering dark qi. So she sits down, ready to embrace the challenge. She decides to use this perfect environment to its fullest potential, and attempts to grasp the nature of dark qi right here and now. Her body becomes a conduit, energy flowing through her in the darkness. In the darkness, her consciousness turns inward. Her eyes open, seeing the world in a new light. She can finally perceive it, the dark qi flowing within her. She understands that with training, this power can grow. But her meditation is suddenly interrupted by a new presence. A massive glowing ring descends from the void above her. Her spiritual form is pulled upward by an irresistible force. She cries out as the ring's energy begins to absorb her. Her consciousness fades as she's pulled through the strange artifact, and her glowing form is released, falling into the abyss. In the control room, the instructor screams that Qing has fainted. The news hits Cheng-Chi and the others like a physical blow. He cries out his sister's name, his voice filled with terror. Without a second thought, he sprints toward the sealed room. He plunges into the darkness where his sister is trapped. The instructors are right on his heels. Scrambling to respond to the sudden crisis, Qilao orders an immediate shutdown of the entire trial. The dark qi that formed the sensory vacuum begins to dissolve, and the doors open to reveal Cheng-Chi holding his sister's limp body. The instructor tells him to put Qing down so she can examine her, but he's lost in panic, desperately trying to wake his sister. She lies completely still, unresponsive to his pleas. The instructor finds no external injuries, blaming a surge of dark qi. She uses her own energy to try and stabilize Qing's condition. Cheng-Chi confronts the elder, furious he wasn't warned of the risks. He carries his sister away, leaving Qilao to ponder what went wrong. The elder suspects their unique demigod blood is the cause. In the infirmary, Cheng-Chi refuses to leave his sister's side. Qilao assures him she'll be fine, then asks about his own plans. Cheng-Chi asks if this means his sister has failed the trial. The elder confirms they can't let her risk it again, and asks if Cheng-Chi is willing to continue alone. Elsewhere, the other instructors wait for his decision. He stands over his sister, the weight of his choice heavy on his shoulders. But his resolve doesn't waver. He will continue right now. His hand clenches, the ring on his finger a silent testament to his vow. Qilao smiles, satisfied with the boy's determination. He asks the others to watch over Qing while he's gone. The elder explains the next trial will test his hearing, surrounded by giant bells. He explains that for the next 8 minutes, he'll channel dark qi into one of the bells. Cheng-Chi must identify it 3 times in a row, with the sound getting fainter each time. He closes his eyes, listens, and points without hesitation. He does it again, his focus unwavering. For the final stage, he points to a 3rd bell as Qilao stands beside it. The elder's eyes narrow, impressed by the boy's sharp senses. With absolute certainty, Cheng-Chi identifies the final bell. Qilao smiles, announcing that he's passed the 2nd trial. The 3rd trial is a test of smell. Find the vial containing dark qi. Before the elder can even finish the instructions, Cheng-Chi finds it. For the 4th trial, Qilao presents another featureless room. But this time, he must rely solely on his sense of touch. Without hesitation, Cheng-Chi steps back into the familiar darkness. He reaches out, feeling for the invisible path of dark qi. Outside, Qilao remarks on the terrifying speed of a demigod's talent, but his musings are cut short by the sound of the door opening. Cheng-Chi emerges, having passed again, while the elder's game announces an incoming attack. He asks about the final trial, but Qilao cuts him off. The elder complains that his old bones need a break from all this excitement. He advises Cheng-Chi to rest before the final, most difficult battle. He keeps a silent vigil by his sister's bedside. Even in his sleep, he whispers a vow to protect her. The next day, the final trial begins. Qilao leads him out into the wilderness. The elder suddenly stops, telling him to stand still. Cheng-Chi can only look on in confusion. Qilao finally explains the 5th and final trial. The challenge is simple. Just try to approach him. Cheng-Chi charges forward, pushing against a powerful force. He's stunned by the sheer power of the elder's dark qi. Qilao tells him that standing still won't help him pass, so Cheng-Chi digs his heels in, pushing with all his might. His expression is one of pure, unyielding determination. He fights for every single step forward, slowly closing the distance between them. But the invisible force suddenly throws him off balance. He's sent tumbling back down the hill. He realizes that simply pushing forward is useless, so he takes a step back, creating some distance. He needs a new strategy to overcome this final hurdle. He realizes the pressure is weaker the farther away he is, so he tries to use the distance to build up a full head of steam. But the closer he gets, the harder it is to take a single step. He digs his heels in, fighting against the invisible wall. Qilao watches him struggle to a halt, unimpressed. The elder admits it's a decent plan, but ultimately incorrect. And once again, the force sends Cheng-Chi tumbling to the ground. He can't even gain momentum when he gets close. But then, a new, slightly crazier idea begins to form. He braces himself against a tree, ready to try a new approach. The elder's voice cuts through his struggle, telling him he's missed the point. And in that moment, everything finally clicks into place. The goal was never just to pass, but to gain the power to protect Qing. The previous trials taught him to see, hear, smell, and touch dark qi. He's been fighting the pressure instead of trying to feel it. He's already awakened his power. Now he just needs to embrace it. A fiery aura begins to gather around his clenched fist. With a defiant roar, he unleashes his own energy, sending a massive shockwave across the training ground. Qilao can only stare, completely stunned by the boy's sudden breakthrough. With a final surge of power, Cheng-Chi passes the 5th trial. Back in the infirmary, Qilao advises him to rest after the ordeal, but his only concern is for his sister, demanding to know how she is. She remains completely unresponsive, lost in a deep sleep. He gently checks her temperature, his worry growing. The elder dismisses his fears, suggesting it's just a bad dream. He wonders if she's reliving the trauma of the training ground attack. He watches over her, a silent promise in his eyes. He whispers that he's mastered dark qi and will soon be strong enough to protect her. All he needs now is for her to wake up. But inside her mind, Qing's consciousness awakens in a strange place. She's trapped within a vision, a memory of a great battle. A blinding flash of golden light rips through the darkness. It's a powerful attack that sends hordes of demons reeling. Winged beasts and twisted monsters are scattered by the blast. A lone warrior, wreathed in light, cuts through their ranks. He lands amidst the chaos, a glowing spear in his hand. The warrior realizes the demons have scattered, escaping his wrath. He wonders how his attack could have possibly failed, and Qing can only stare, asking who this mysterious man is. Back in the infirmary, Qing finally stirs, clutching her head in pain. Shang-Chi rushes to her side, relieved to see her conscious. He explains she's been out for a day, and Qilao asks what she remembers. She recalls trying to analyze the dark qi within the trial room. The elder is secretly impressed, recognizing her innate genius. He offers a simple explanation. Her own power overwhelmed her. But Qing seems unconvinced, a flicker of doubt in her eyes. Qilao encourages her to try summoning her power again. She closes her eyes and a faint blue aura surrounds her. A flame of pure dark qi appears in her hands, and Cheng-Chi is ecstatic. Qilao praises their exceptional talent, but offers a word of caution. He warns them not to stand out, deciding to say they took a week to pass. The siblings offer their thanks as the elder prepares to leave. He tells them to rest, promising to catch them up on what they've missed. Elsewhere, that same strange bird soars through a desolate canyon. It lands on the shoulder of its cloaked master. The creature reports that Cheng-Chi has passed the trials. The master seems pleased, deciding it's time to unleash a special present for the boy. 1 week later, the students gather for another lesson on the training grounds. Cheng-Chi recognizes the setup, wondering if it's the same small demon from before. The instructor explains they'll be unsealing the demon for a controlled fight. But inside the cage, its eyes glow with a sudden feral intensity. The sight triggers a flash of red in Cheng-Chi's memory. He and the other students watch with a mix of fear and anticipation. The demon thrashes against the bars as the students mock its rage. A girl steps forward, offering to be the first to fight. But the instructor is looking for any willing volunteer. The blonde bully smirks, eager for a chance to mess with a monster. A massive energy barrier forms, creating a sealed arena for the fight. He then summons his slimy frog familiar, ready for round 2. But the demon's rage intensifies, red energy crackling around it. Its body begins to contort and swell with a dark power. The small creature transforms into a hulking, monstrous beast. The reinforced cage begins to buckle under the immense strain, and with a final push, the bars shatter completely. The blonde bully is thrown back by the explosive force. A terrifying new demon stands where the small creature once was. But the bully just smirks, taunting the monster with a cocky grin. Another student screams for everyone to retreat, sensing the danger. But it's too late, as the demon lunges and shreds his familiar to pieces. The bully can only stare as the remains of his familiar fly past. His eyes widen with the sudden, terrifying realization that he's standing before something far beyond his control. The instructor is sent flying as a student screams a desperate warning. The demon effortlessly swats away the instructor's attacks. The other students can only watch, stunned that their teacher was defeated so easily. The beast's red eyes glow with pure, unbridled malice. It's now trapped inside the energy barrier, and the students know this is bad. One of the girls takes charge, ordering the others to either fight or flee. Qing looks to her brother, her expression filled with concern. The green-haired girl screams at the siblings to stop waiting and fight. Inside the barrier, the demon crackles with a dark purple energy. It lets out a furious roar, its power continuing to swell. The girl warns the others that it's about to break free. She rallies the students to launch a combined, preemptive strike. Cheng-Chi and the others brace for the impact of the battle. The training ground is engulfed in a massive cloud of smoke. But when it clears, the students realize the demon has vanished. Cheng-Chi's eyes widen in pure terror as he senses something behind him. The beast has reappeared, its massive claw descending upon the siblings. The massive claw descends with terrifying speed. Shang-Chi shoves his sister aside, realizing they're the target. He knows they're too slow to escape its relentless pursuit. He orders Qing to find their instructors while he holds it off. He sprints away, trying to draw the monster's attention. The other students watch as their attacks are swatted aside, some impressed by Shang-Chi's agility. The green-haired girl screams at them to stop staring and help. They finally unleash another volley of elemental attacks. But Shang-Chi knows the demon is only focused on him, and he can't dodge forever. He digs his heels in, finally ready to make a stand. He summons his power, a golden aura gathering in his hand. With a defiant shout, he declares that he has no choice but to fight. But the monster simply ignores him, moving past without a glance. Shang-Chi can only wonder if his power had any effect at all, before a powerful blow from behind sends him flying. He's thrown across the ground, completely overpowered. His sister screams his name, her voice filled with terror. He looks up just in time to see the demon lunging for the kill. But in a flash, Qing throws herself in front of her brother, and the monster's massive jaws clamp down on her shoulder. But the scene shifts, showing Shang-Chi and a blindfolded Qing running from a different demon. He asks if she was the one who helped them dodge, hoping they can hold out for a teacher. But Qing admits she can only manage it one more time. Shang-Chi knows they have to use that single chance to buy as much time as possible. The demon doesn't wait, leaping into the air for a crushing blow. Its massive hand slams into the earth with devastating force. The beast looks up, realizing its target is now soaring above it. Shang-Chi gathers his energy, his hands glowing with power. He dives downward, hoping this one punch will be enough to stall the monster. And he lands a direct, explosive strike right into the demon's chest. The other students can only stare, shocked by the newcomer's power. He and Qing move in perfect sync, dodging the beast's relentless attacks. But the monster is barely fazed, roaring back with even more fury. It lunges forward in a blur of purple muscle, its claws ready to tear them apart. But the siblings manage to evade the strike at the last second. They catch their breath, thinking they've finally been saved. Just then, Instructor Lin arrives, drawn by the demon's aura. The other instructor wonders how a demon this strong breached their defenses. Elsewhere, a shadowy master scolds his servant for a failed plan. The master reminds his servant that the demon couldn't be too strong, but he didn't expect it to lose to mere students. The bat-like creature suggests they just find the academy and destroy it along with the demigod. But the master dismisses the idea, reminding him their alliance is temporary. He knows this failure has put the academy on high alert, and he needs to get a spy inside. Back at the academy, the director asks Qilao if the demon clan has found them. The elder compares their situation to his failed game, suggesting the real threat is from within. The director's eyes widen, realizing he's talking about a traitor in the association. Qilao recalls the suspicion around the twins' mother, which is why their father raised them in hiding. But the director argues that sending them away now would be a death sentence. Just then, the handle on a nearby door begins to turn. The blonde instructor opens the door, explaining that Qilao brought the siblings. Qilao looks over, remarking on their perfect timing. Shang-Chi immediately asks the elder to teach him God's breath, a question that stuns the director, who thought his memory was wiped. The elder turns, asking where he heard such a thing. Shang-Chi explains that Lu Jiji named the power he used that first night. The elder realizes this explains his rampage on the training grounds, but he tells Shang-Chi that he can't teach him what he wants to know. The siblings are shocked, demanding to know why. Qilao explains that no one can use it, calling it a dangerous power. Qilao explains that God's breath is incredibly difficult to control. He warns that for the last century, all who've tried have self-destructed. Shang-Chi argues that being powerless is just as dangerous. But Qing agrees with the elder, sensing the truth in his words. Qilao warns that each time the power breaks out, it will be stronger. He decides the academy is too slow and unsafe for them. He tells them their talent is immense, and with the right training, they can find a master to guide them on a new path. He leads them to a strange teleportation circle in the courtyard. As they say their goodbyes, he assures them someone is waiting. He explains this path will keep them hidden from all their enemies. But their conversation is interrupted by a new arrival, a pink-haired man who seems thrilled to meet the elder. He introduces himself as Guo Nan, a new teacher from the association. He immediately asks about the two students who passed the trials. He claims he's just curious about their exceptional talent. Qilao deflects, inviting the new teacher to play a video game instead. But as he turns, a sinister look crosses Guo Nan's face. Meanwhile, the teleportation circle activates in a flash of light, and Shang-Chi and Qing are unceremoniously dumped into a new forest. Shang-Chi's eyes widen in disbelief at who's waiting for them. Qing demands to know why Lu Jiji sent them to the academy in the first place. She explains she's only an assistant, and the academy was needed to mask their scent. Qing asks where they are, wondering if they're finally safe. Lu Jiji reveals they're in a remote mountain range hidden from their enemies, and their first training exercise is to stop demons posing as gods. Qing is horrified by the mention of living sacrifices. She gives them a 5-day deadline to master their skills before the ritual. Chengqi's expression hardens, focused on getting stronger. Deciding a demonstration is in order, she unleashes her own power. She demonstrates by punching a tree with a surge of pink energy. She explains this is a simple application of the power they use. But then she places her open palm against the trunk and unleashes the true, devastating power of the profound. The entire tree is disintegrated in a flash of light. Qing is amazed and Chengqi is ready to start training now. But Lu Jiji stops them, handing them each a strange, bone-like artifact. She explains that first, they need to take a test. They channel their energy into the bones, which immediately begin to crack. Lu Jiji is stunned, having never seen such a strange result before, but a new voice cuts in, explaining the true nature of their power. It's Lu Qiwan, who reveals they must test their affinity for the elements. He explains their results are unusual, aligning only with heaven and earth. Because these transformations are so rare, he can only offer guidance. The heavenly power must be reserved, not released, to strengthen the body, while the earthly power is for healing and creating defensive barriers. He gives them a 5-day deadline to master these skills. The siblings immediately begin their training as the others watch on. Lu Qiwan tries to cheer up his daughter, who is clearly not amused. But Chengqi has already mastered the technique, asking if his progress is good enough. Lu Jiji points out that he's just using brute force. But the tree trunk begins to crack from the inside out. Before completely shattering into 1,000 splinters, Lu Qiwan is stunned, realizing the boy truly understands the technique. He tells Chengqi not to get arrogant, and our boy humbly agrees. Chengqi asks about his mother, but Lu Qiwan moves the goalposts again. 5 days later, a procession of demons carries a shrine through the forest. A grotesque boar man and a wolf-like creature lead the way. Lu Qiwan tells him to save the people and show his progress. The boar man suddenly stops, sensing a new presence nearby. With a final command, the trio springs into action. The boar man's eyes widen, shocked by the sudden appearance of humans. A horde of lesser demons charges forward to meet them, but Chengqi remembers his training, compressing the profound energy in his fist. He unleashes a flurry of blows, tearing through the demonic ranks. The boar man can only watch as his minions are sent flying. Chengqi lands another devastating blow, shaking the very ground. The demon's confidence shatters, now begging for him to stay away. But our boy just gathers his power for another strike, and unleashes it on the wolf demon in a blinding flash of light. Meanwhile, Qing and Lu Jiji find themselves surrounded by the remaining demons. A massive club slams into the ground before them. Lu Jiji calmly identifies the new threat as a simple mob. Elsewhere, Chengqi hears a strange sound from inside the shrine, a soft, strange noise that puts him on high alert. He cautiously pulls back the curtain to investigate the source, and his eyes widen in complete and utter shock. The others arrive just in time to share his confusion. They all stare, completely baffled by what they're seeing. The sacrifice is a woman who seems more annoyed than afraid. Lu Jiji promptly kicks Chengqi away, telling him the show is over. Her father appears, and she quickly tries to play it cool, sending him away. The rescued woman asks who they are, and Lu Jiji explains they're demon hunters. The woman offers her thanks as the group escorts her through the woods. Their journey takes them to a small, secluded village nestled in the mountains. She calls out for her father, announcing that she's finally home. An old man appears in the doorway, his eyes wide with shock and fear. His expression softens into weary relief as he sees his daughter is safe. She introduces the group as her saviors, and he invites them inside. But Lu Qiwan politely declines, saying their work here is done. But Qing's expression is troubled. The group agrees the father's reaction was suspicious, deciding to wait until dawn to act. The next morning, a mob of angry villagers demands the woman be sent back. Her father tries to reason with them, but they refuse to listen. Lu Qiwan steps in, announcing they've dealt with the demons and their sacrifices are over. But the villagers are unconvinced, fearing what will happen after the hunters leave. Qing is horrified by their cowardice as the mob disperses. The rescued woman turns to the group, a desperate plea in her eyes. Lu Qiwan warns her to keep her distance from the coming fight, but she begs to join them, fearing for her father's safety and hoping to prove the threat is gone. The woman gratefully agrees, understanding their plan. As they travel, Lu Qiwan notes the strange absence of lesser demons. They finally spot their target, a powerful tiger-like demon. Its red eyes burn with a feral, unrestrained rage. Lu Tiwan gives the order for Cheng-Chi to fight it alone as a test. The rescued woman worries that it's too dangerous for him, but Lu Tiwan just tells her to stay back for her own safety. Cheng-Chi digs his heels in, ready to charge. He lunges forward, his fist ready to strike, and he lands a solid blow, sending the beast reeling. But Cheng-Chi's expression changes as he finally understands the truth, just as a shadowy claw lunges for the group from behind. The rescued woman makes her move, striking at Lu Tiwan. But her attack is effortlessly blocked by a wall of crackling energy. She can only stare in disbelief, her surprise attack completely foiled. The counterforce sends her flying as the others stand behind a protective barrier. She lands, her expression shifting from shock to anger. The group reveals they were suspicious all along, pointing out the flaws in her act. Her human disguise melts away, revealing a winged demon furious at being exposed. She rises into the air, ready to unleash her true power on the hunters. Lu Tiwan's eyes widen as he recognizes the creature as a mythical beast. The winged demon taunts them from above, promising a painful end. He warns the others that this creature is far too ferocious for any of them to handle. But Cheng-Chi ignores the warning, charging forward with a furious shout. Lu Tiwan screams for him to stop, revealing it's not a demon at all as his punch is caught. The creature stops his attack with a single hand, a smug look on her face. She sends him flying backward with a casual flick of her tail. But Cheng-Chi lands, vowing that anything that harms others deserves to be destroyed. His sister and Lu Tiwan desperately try to hold him back from another attack. The beast just scoffs, amused by the foolish boy's arrogance. She's furious that he dared to touch her perfect skin. Her eyes glow with a murderous rage, and she lunges, vowing to kill them all. But Qing steps forward, raising a defensive barrier. The shield shatters instantly under the beast's assault. Lu Tiwan shouts a warning, realizing her power has grown. He unleashes a powerful gust of wind to counter, but the beast simply smirks, caught in the gale. The attack fades, leaving her completely unharmed. Lu Tiwan can only stare, shocked that he couldn't even scratch her. Lu Tiwan admits that this creature is far beyond their abilities, but with no other choice, he prepares a binding technique. Qing follows his lead, her hands glowing with a similar energy. They unleash a flurry of energy tendrils that ensnare the beast. Lu Tiwan screams for the others to run while he holds her off. But the creature just smirks, completely unimpressed by their efforts. She scoffs at the very idea of them escaping, and with a surge of power she shatters their binding spell. She unleashes a devastating technique of her own, turning the entire forest into a barren, lifeless wasteland. Lu Tiwan screams for them to use their power to survive the heat, but his eyes widen in terror as he realizes the true threat. The winged beast unleashes a wave of pure, oppressive energy. Qing screams a warning as the creature lunges for Lu Tiwan. But the intense heat has made his body sluggish and slow. The beast streaks past him in a blur of motion. He realizes their only hope might be Qing's untamed power. He desperately tells her to use the ring to unleash it. But the beast is already gone, soaring into the sky. She flees in a rage, sensing a far greater power has arrived. A new voice utters a single, powerful command, and the winged beast is instantly frozen in a prison of ice. The massive iceberg shrinks as it falls from the sky, condensing into a single glowing blue crystal. It lands gently in the palm of a mysterious newcomer. He calmly asks if they are the demon hunters. Lu Tiwan can only stare, stunned by his overwhelming power. But Qing's eyes widen with a flash of recognition. He introduces himself as Molin, the guardian of Kunlun Mountain. He explains the creature wasn't a demon, but an escaped spirit beast. He gives them a parting gift, a spirit jade, explaining it can be used to contact him with a single thought. But the jade floats down into Qing's hands and hers alone. Her eyes widen, a flicker of recognition in her gaze. As the guardian departs, Cheng-Chi asks why she was singled out. Qing admits she's seen him before, but only in her dreams. Cheng-Chi's mind wanders to a different kind of predestined fate. His wandering eyes earn him a look of confusion from the girls, and a furious lecture from an overprotective Lu Tiwan. But even while throttling the kid, he tells Qing to keep the jade. Qing tries to refuse the gift, feeling unworthy of such an item. Lu Tiwan then tells them their training is over, and it's time to go home. Cheng-Chi is furious, arguing that they still have a score to settle. Lu Tiwan sighs, admitting it's time to tell them the whole truth. He reveals their father suspected a high-ranking spy within the alliance. The news leaves the siblings completely stunned. He explains their expulsion was a ruse to throw the spy off their trail, and it all connects back to something that happened to their mother. He begins a story from his academy days, a final exam against low-level demons. He, their father, and their mother were all part of the same team. He explains that a year after she vanished, their mother reappeared with a group of demons, holding the newborn twins. Chengchi wonders if she was kidnapped, but Lu Xiwan believes it was more of a symbiotic relationship. But before they could learn the truth, the alliance declared war, and their mother was killed in the conflict. With her dying breath, she entrusted them to Cheng San, revealing their biological father was a god. The revelation leaves Qing completely speechless, and Chengchi can barely process the bombshell, so that's where the Super Saiyan hair comes from. Lu Qiwan explains that he and their father always suspected a conspiracy, that the war was a cover-up. He believes their mother was silenced, and now the same person is hunting them to erase all traces of the truth. But he offers a sliver of hope, revealing that a god is not so easily killed. Qing realizes this means their father might just be missing, and their new mission is to find him. The next day, Lu Qiwan explains he set up a protective barrier around their home. Meanwhile, a young man is absolutely demolishing a stack of noodles. The owner notes his good mood, and the man cryptically celebrates a rival's absence. The owner offers the last bowl for free, a gesture of goodwill. The man is shocked, questioning the owner's sudden generosity. The owner reveals he's closing up shop for good. The man laments the closure, making a strange, predatory joke that the owner laughs off. But their conversation is interrupted by a new arrival. It's Lu Qiwan and the others, here to take over the noodle shop. The man's eyes widen as he realizes exactly who has just walked in. The man's friendly demeanor vanishes as he stares down Chengchi, and Chengchi can sense that something is off about this guy. Without another word, the man pays for his meal and leaves. The owner is confused by his sudden departure, noting he didn't even finish his food. Chengchi's instincts scream that the man is more than just a regular customer. The owner explains he's irregular with a massive appetite. With their new base secured, Qing tells her brother it's time to get to work. But Chengchi points out a fatal flaw in their business plan. They can't actually cook. He then turns his attention to Lu Jiji, wondering what use she'll be. A question she answers by getting right in his face, much to his terror. She answers by shoving him against the wall, and he immediately surrenders, deciding she can be the boss. But Qing steps in, reminding them they need to find a chef, not start a fight. So they put up a sign, hoping to find someone to run the kitchen. The sight brings back a painful memory of a happier time with their father. She makes a silent vow to continue the family restaurant he guarded for so long. Just then, a voice from behind asks if they're looking for help. She turns with a hopeful smile, confirming that they are. But the applicant is Molin, the guardian of Kunlun, who asks why she never called. Qing is confused, explaining she thought the jade was only for spirit beast emergencies. But Chengchi's attention is on Lu Jiji, who's just arrived with the guardian. Molin scolds them, revealing a spirit beast has already visited their shop. Chengchi realizes it was the suspicious customer from the day before. The guardian explains it was a coyote, a soul-devouring beast that's been targeting skilled chefs. Chengchi sarcastically asks if the guardian is here to steal their kill. Molin questions if Chengchi even has the strength to face such a creature. But our boy argues that since it has harmed humans, it's a demon hunter's duty to stop it. He slams his hand on the table, his resolve firm. He offers a deal. Whoever catches the beast gets to handle it. And with a fist bump, the unlikely alliance is formed. As dusk settles over the city, the streets are quiet. The touty wanders, complaining that he's run out of good food. But then, a new scent catches his attention. His eyes widen as an irresistible aroma fills the air. Back at the shop, the group stares at a single bowl of noodles, wondering if this plan will work. Chengchi complains that their bait looks so unappetizing, not even a stray would eat it. As if on cue, a nearby dog sneezes in agreement. But Molin explains he's added a special fruit, a delicacy no touty can resist. Hours later, the shop is dark, the trap perfectly set. But Chengchi is already bored, doubting the Guardian's plan will even work. The others give up for the night, but Molin insists the touty can't resist the bait. Qing offers to stay and wait with the Guardian. But even she eventually gives in, telling him to get some rest. The door closes, leaving the shop in complete darkness. And in the silence of the night, the trap is finally sprung. The front door slides open, revealing the lone bowl of noodles. A shadowy hand reaches out, unable to resist the temptation. The touty grumbles that he had to wait all night for the hunters to leave. He digs in, savoring the irresistible aroma. But he stops, realizing there's something strange about the taste. He wonders why the flavor seems so strangely familiar. A voice whispers from behind, asking if it tastes like his favorite fruit. The touty recoils, flipping backward to escape the sudden ambush. He lands with a furious shout, realizing he's been played. With no other choice, he makes a mad dash for the door. He sprints down the empty street, trying to put some distance between them, but Chengchi leaps down from a rooftop, cutting off his escape. He taunts the beast, daring him to stop running and fight like a real monster. The Taori snarls back, blaming his hesitation on the scent of another person. And right on cue, Molin appears, asking if he was the one being discussed. Chengchi reminds the guardian of their deal. Whoever catches the Taori gets to call the shots, but Molin simply raises his hand, ready to act. The Taori realizes he's completely surrounded. With a furious roar, he tears away his human disguise. His true monstrous form is finally revealed. Molin watches the transformation, completely unfazed. But Chengchi's eyes narrow, ready for a real fight. The Taori vows that none of them will survive the night. Molin offers a final choice: surrender, or be sealed away forever. But Chengchi rejects the offer, his hand igniting with golden flame. He leaps into the fray, tired of the talk and ready to fight. But his attack misses, the Taori easily dodging the blow. The beast moves with blinding speed, its claws ready to strike. It lets out a furious roar, enraged by the young hunter's challenge. And it lands a swift counterattack, catching Chengchi off guard. Our boy is thrown back as the monster moves like a blur. Its red eyes burn with a predatory hunger. Chengchi clutches his chest, realizing this beast is far stronger than he thought. But a familiar voice cuts through the chaos, calling out his name. It's Qing and Lu Jiji, arriving just in time to see him get knocked around. Qing argues that they're demon hunters too, and they're not about to sit this out. But Chengchi just scolds them for showing up, reminding them he told them to stay put. Molin just scoffs, dismissing the Taori as a weakling and a waste of his time. He raises a glowing blue crystal, preparing to unleash a technique called the Spirit Prison. With a simple hand sign, he summons its power. The Taori can only curse as a massive prison of ice erupts from the ground. The glowing structure rises, ready to ensnare the beast. Chengchi wonders if the guardian is finally getting serious. And with a single word, Molin prepares to seal the monster away for good. The air cracks as shards of ice converge from all sides. The Taoti is caught in a swirling vortex of frigid energy. It can only stare, stunned by the guardian's incredible speed. And in an instant, it's completely encased in solid ice. Molin scoffs, telling Chengchi that his power is nothing compared to this. But Chengchi accuses him of protecting the beast, not sealing it. Just then, a faint crack appears on the surface of the ice. The guardian's smug expression vanishes, replaced by pure shock. The others can only watch as the cracks begin to spread. And with a deafening roar, the Taori shatters its icy prison. Qing screams a desperate warning to the others, and throws up a protective barrier around the group. Molin coughs, weakened from the backlash of his failed attack. He tries to summon the Spirit Prison crystal once more, but Lu Jiji tells Chengchi it's their turn to fight. The two of them charge forward in a blur of motion. The Taori scoffs, dismissing their foolish charge. It unleashes a flurry of dark energy tendrils, which erupt in a massive explosion of power, sending both Chengchi and Lu Jiji flying backward. Lu Jiji can only express her frustration at the turn of events, but Chengchi just taunts the beast, a brilliant strategy when you're already losing. The Taori silhouette glows with a furious purple energy. Its power surges in a massive, uncontrolled wave. It unleashes a torrent of dark energy, vowing to make the boy regret his words. The blast slams into Chengchi, engulfing him completely. The monster turns its attention to the others, promising they're next. Molin realizes his power is failing, unable to contain the beast. The Taori lets out a manic laugh as it continues its assault, and Chengchi is caught in the blast, coughing and overwhelmed by the attack. But his sister's desperate voice cuts through the chaos. She leaps onto the monster's back, trying to hold it off. The Taori turns its glowing red eyes on its new attacker, and Lu Jiji unleashes her own Thunder Dragon technique. The blast of red lightning slams directly into the beast, but the monster simply absorbs the attack into its body. It begins draining the life force from both of the women. They cry out in agony, their energy being siphoned away. The Taori grins, announcing that playtime is officially over. But just then, a flash of blue light cuts through the darkness. A glowing blue spear cuts through the dark energy. The Taori roars, furious that the guardian would attack it. But Molin declares his duty is to protect the weak. He stands between the beast and the fallen hunters. But from the ground, Chengchi takes offense at being called weak. He claims he was just using the beast to awaken his own power. Molin ignores him, condescendingly asking the Taori if it's done playing. But Chengchi rises, his arm glowing with a familiar golden flame, declaring he's just getting started. The Taori's eyes narrow, finally sensing a real threat from the boy. And the three of them are locked in a tense three-way standoff. Molin's eyes widen, finally recognizing the nature of the boy's power. But Chengchi is already moving, lunging forward with a furious charge. The Taori just scoffs, its red eyes filled with contempt. It taunts him for his weakness, even as his fist slams into its jaw, but the beast counters, sinking its fangs deep into his arm. Molin screams a warning, but Chang-Chi just grits his teeth through the pain. The Guardian can only stare, completely stunned by the boy's recklessness. But a smirk spreads across Chang-Chi's face as he reveals his true plan. His free hand forms a glowing red sigil, a trap he's been setting all along. The Taudi's eyes glow with a sudden blinding light as the spell takes hold. The Taudi screams in agony, caught in the glowing trap. Chang-Chi begins to siphon the monster's power directly into his body. The beast can only watch as its energy is drained away. But our boy struggles to contain the sheer force of it. The stolen power coalesces into a massive, fiery beast of its own, and the backlash sends a wave of agony through Chang-Chi. But he stands his ground, the golden flames forming massive wings behind him. He seems to have tamed the stolen power, his eyes burning with resolve. A confident smirk spreads across his face. He looks at the new markings on his arm, realizing the elder's words were true. The group floats down as Chang-Chi reassures his sister. But Molin immediately confronts him, demanding to know how he used a forbidden technique. Chang-Chi just smirks, declaring that he won the bet and the Taudi is his. His victory lap is cut short by a swift slap from Lu Jiji. He asks why he's being punished for saving them, but she warns him about the dangers of his new power. The others can only stare, stunned by the sudden turn of events. Molin explains that if he can't control it, the power will consume him, but Chang-Chi scoffs, claiming he's fully aware of the risks. His bravado fades as a wave of agony suddenly rips through him, and inside his arm, the Taudi's spirit realizes it's been trapped. The Taudi's spirit roars from within, vowing to break free. It thrashes wildly against the confines of its new prison. But a beam of golden light descends upon it. A voice tells the creature to be quiet. A fiery silhouette appears, a manifestation of Chang-Chi's true power. The Taudi can only stare in disbelief at this new presence. Its defiance turns to terror as it begs for its life. The figure scolds the beast for daring to harm its host. It gives the Taudi a new purpose: become Chang-Chi's guardian. The figure admits that while Chang-Chi is weak now, his power will grow. The Taudi's spirit reluctantly agrees to its new role. Back in the real world, the others work to stabilize Chang-Chi's body. Molin uses his own power to help seal the beast's energy away. He can only stare, shocked that the boy actually pulled it off. Chang-Chi's eyes open, the ordeal finally over. The scene shifts to a quiet night in the mountains. A memory surfaces of Qi Lao's warning about the forbidden technique. He'd explained that success or failure depended entirely on luck. And if he failed, he would become a monster, neither human nor demon. Back in the present, Chang-Chi rests, contemplating the risk he just took. He reflects on the forbidden technique, a risk he had to take to protect them. But from the seal, a golden aura begins to glow. The Taoti's spirit appears, vowing it won't be trapped for long. Chang-Chi just taunts it, and the beast makes a list of demands. It agrees to help, but only when he's in real trouble. But our boy reminds the spirit who's really in charge here, and with that, the markings on his arm completely vanish. Just then, Molin appears, revealing he's been out for 3 days. Chang-Chi immediately accuses him of trying to steal his new pet, but the Guardian explains he's staying to hunt for other escaped beasts. Molin asks how Chang-Chi possesses divine blood when he seems so ordinary. He reveals that he and his brother are the only other demigods he knows of. Chang-Chi is stunned by the news, as Molin explains their isolated upbringing. He considers the possibility of a new ally to help protect his sister. An awkward silence hangs between the two as Chang-Chi stands on the bed. The scene shifts to a dark, ominous fortress, a place of pure evil. A familiar bat-like demon looks up, clearly in a lot of trouble. He's sent flying across the room, crying out from the force of the blow. His cloaked master scolds him for his continued failure to find the twins. The servant can only grovel on the floor, begging for his master's forgiveness. The master warns his servant that another failure will be his last. The terrified creature promises to redouble his efforts to find them. The scene shifts to a white-haired delivery boy at an apartment door, wondering who's missing him. He's making a delivery to a modern high-rise building. He heads up the stairs as the door clicks open. A pink-haired woman greets him, inviting him inside while she gets the money. She turns back to her computer, addressing her online audience. The boy hesitates in the doorway, unsure of what to do. She's in the middle of a live performance, singing for her fans. Her screen is flooded with virtual gifs and adoring comments from her viewers. She thanks her audience, ending the live stream for the day. She then turns to Chang-Chi, announcing she's off to dinner. Our boy is left completely flustered by the whole situation. The woman strikes a pose, clearly enjoying his discomfort. She suddenly grabs him by the collar, pulling him closer. She teases him for watching, asking how he'll show his gratitude. She laughs at his innocent reaction, pinching his cheek. Her grip is firm, much to his extreme annoyance. Her hand slides down, her intentions becoming a bit too clear. He tries to fend her off, completely overwhelmed by her advances. She scolds him for only caring about the money. But Chungchu is completely unfazed, simply asking for payment. He explains he has to get back to work, taking the cash, and leaves the exact change on the table. He reminds her to leave a good review as he bolts for the door. Professionalism at its finest. Her eyes narrow with a predatory glint, vowing this isn't over. She clenches her fist, promising that no one escapes her. The scene shifts to a busy city street, where a student walks alone. Back at the shop, Lu Qiwan explains that a secret order is involved, but their targets are impossible to track. He then compliments the food, noting that the chef has some real skill. Qingqi demands to know more about this mysterious secret order. Lu Qiwan agrees, preparing to explain the alliance's inner workings. He describes the hierarchy: a chairman and two powerful robed figures. He admits the official investigation was a dead end, forcing them to go rogue. The siblings are eager to go to the headquarters and get justice for their parents, but Lu Qiwan tells them they're still far too weak for that. He clarifies their new roles as junior hunters, with Lu Jiji as their leader. Chungchi scoffs at the idea, which goes over about as well as you'd expect. The scene shifts as someone begins preparing a meal in the kitchen, and the Chung family restaurant is officially open for business. Later that night, Qing tries to relax in a warm bath. Her thoughts drift to the spirit jade given to her by the guardian. But as she contemplates the gift, a sinister presence appears behind her. She recalls Molin's words, wondering how she's supposed to contact him with just a thought. As the monster looms closer, she decides to give it a try. She finally senses the creature, her eyes widening in alarm. Her panicked thought triggers a sudden flash of light, and a scream echoes from the apartment building. Chungchi hears it, calling out his sister's name in terror. But the intruder isn't a monster. It's Molin, who's just been teleported directly into her bath. Molin explains he was just answering her summons, thinking she was in danger. Just as Chungchi bursts in, demanding to know what's wrong, Qing quickly covers the doorway, blaming her scream on a cockroach. She then begs the guardian to keep this whole embarrassing incident a secret. Chungchi, completely fooled, just tells her to finish up and get some sleep. He walks away, wondering if he's just being too sensitive. But as he heads back to his room, a feeling of unease lingers. His hand freezes just inches from his own doorknob. His eyes snap open as he demands to know who's there. Two shadowy figures float in the hallway, their silent arrival a clear and present danger. They introduce themselves as demon hunter messengers, and toss him a scroll containing his first official assignment. Chungchi can only stare, completely caught off guard. The messengers vanish, leaving him alone in the hallway. The scroll leads him to a building in the city's nightlife district. He complains that Lu Jiji didn't need to come, but she knows he'd just get into trouble. He pauses, his eyes fixed on the entrance. This is the place, a club called Romantic Red. A hostess greets them as they step into the lavish lobby. She immediately focuses on Chungchi, teasing him for bringing a girl along. But Lu Jiji retorts, asking who said women can't be here. The hostess quickly recovers, leading them inside with a practiced smile. Chungchi is immediately impressed by the club, much to Lu Jiji's annoyance, so this is what he calls undercover work. The hostess presents a lineup of women, offering him his choice for the evening. But Lu Jiji grabs his ear, reminding him this isn't a vacation. He cheerfully ignores her, announcing that he'll take everyone. The women immediately swarm him, leaving a stunned Lu Jiji in their wake. Our boy is completely lost in the moment, blushing from all the attention. An hour later, he's being pampered, completely forgetting about the mission. He's now singing karaoke, fully embracing his role as the center of attention. He's completely lost in the moment, letting the women dote on him. But from the shadows, Lu Jiji watches with a cold, unreadable expression. A glass shatters, a perfect metaphor for her patience. Another woman taunts him, asking if his girlfriend is angry. But Chungchu just scoffs, drunkenly denying she's with him. He raises his glass, ready to keep the party going all night. And the group makes a toast, the night's mission completely forgotten. Later, one of the women leads a stumbling Chungchi down a dark alley. He admits he has nowhere to stay, completely at her mercy. Her friendly facade drops, revealing a sinister smile as she makes her offer. She suggests they go back to his place for the night, but he feigns impatience, asking why it's taking so long. His hand moves to push her away, the drunken act fading. She pins him to the wall, and he agrees that he can't wait any longer. She moves in, attempting to drain his life force with a kiss, but her eyes widen in shock as the tables are suddenly turned. His fist glows with power as he reveals his true intentions. He shoves her back with a powerful blast of energy. She stumbles backward, struggling to regain her balance. He reveals the entire act was a trap to lure her out. She recoils in shock, realizing his drunken stupor was just an act. Her true nature begins to show as she identifies him as a demon hunter. Her hands transform into monstrous claws, her disguise falling away. She drops into a feral stance, vowing to make him regret his deception. But Cheng-Chu just stares back, completely unfazed by the transformation. She lunges forward in a blur of motion, her claws tearing up the pavement, and unleashes a powerful strike that smashes into the wall behind him. But Cheng-Chu dodges at the last second, the attack just grazing his cheek. She follows up with another swift attack, but he evades that one too. She finally admits that she may have underestimated the young hunter. She realizes this boy is no pushover and decides to make a tactical retreat. But a flicker of alarm crosses her face as she senses a new threat. Lu Jiji appears on a nearby rooftop, taunting her for being outplayed. Before the demon can react, Cheng-Chi grabs her from behind. He holds her in place, trapping her between the two hunters. Lu Jiji leaps down to finish the job, ignoring Cheng-Chi's warning. The fox demon is caught in a blast of crackling purple energy. Lu Jiji lands, pinning the creature in a field of lightning. The attack forces the demon into her true multi-tailed fox form. Lu Jiji prepares to unleash another powerful, profound style. But the fox demon vanishes, leaving Lu Jiji to collapse from exhaustion. She wakes up a short time later, completely disoriented. She's in a hotel room, and Cheng-Chi explains she fainted during the fight. She's furious about sharing a room, but he calmly offers her the couch or the street. He then reveals they're staying for a few days, suspecting there are more demons. Lu Jiji's eyes widen as she realizes he let the first one escape on purpose. He confirms he planted a tracking spell on it, a shortcut to finding their nest. But their stakeout is interrupted by a strange sound from the bathroom. A flustered Cheng-Chi announces he's taking a bath, leaving her to rest, and the two are left in a very awkward, very tense silence. In the bathroom, Cheng-Chi tries to wash away the day's tension, but his mind is still racing from the recent fight. Outside, Lu Jiji stumbles, complaining of a sudden fever. A sound from the door makes Cheng-Chi freeze in place. He screams in shock as Lu Jiji walks right into the bathroom. She pushes him against the wall, her intentions unclear. Before he can even process what's happening, she leans in close. And in a move no one saw coming, she makes her move. Her hand presses against his chest, trapping him completely. His mind can only scream in absolute, unfiltered panic. But in a panic, Cheng-Chu grabs the nearest weapon, the shower head. As she pushes forward, her intention still a mystery. He gives her a cold shower to snap her out of it. He's left completely stunned by the sudden turn of events. The water seems to break the spell, leaving her dazed and confused. He explains she was charmed by the fox demon's spell, but she cuts him off, too embarrassed to hear any more. She can only offer a weak apology for her actions. Her energy completely spent, she turns away in shame. She insists she'll be fine, telling him to rest for the hunt tomorrow. Cheng-Chi sleeps, a faint blush still on his cheeks. The next day, a crowd gathers at a new crime scene. A police captain arrives to find another victim of the fox demon. He listens grimly as his subordinate gives him the report. The captain reaches down to inspect the body himself. The victim's face is a mask of terror, completely drained of life. He orders the body taken away for an autopsy. His team recognizes the killer's familiar, gruesome signature. Just then, two figures push their way through the crowd. The captain spots them, wondering if these are the demon hunters. The captain asks if they're from the Alliance, but Cheng-Chi demands to know how he knows. The captain takes a long drag from his cigarette and introduces himself as Lin Tian, an investigator of abnormal deaths. Cheng-Chi introduces himself and Lu Jiji, explaining their assignment. The captain explains this is the second victim in just 3 days. Another officer scoffs, doubting their ability to handle the demon. But Cheng-Chi retorts that he's already faced one and survived. The officer quickly backs down, suddenly remembering he has paperwork to file. But their conversation is cut short as another officer runs in, shouting for the captain. Captain Lin turns, annoyed by the sudden commotion. He frantically reports something strange about the two bodies. The captain turns to the hunters, asking for their input, and Cheng-Chi immediately agrees to go with him. The scene shifts as they head to the morgue. They arrive to find the captain questioning the medical staff. The victims' bodies now have strange, glowing pink marks. The sight immediately puts Lu Jiji on high alert. She recognizes the symbol, trying to place the memory. Later, she struggles to recall where she's seen it before. The captain reveals the victims had only one thing in common. Cheng-Chi smirks, guessing the victims shared a similar reckless lifestyle. The captain confirms they were regulars at clubs, always with different women. Lu Jiji wonders if the same demon is responsible for both deaths, but Cheng Chu explains his tracking spell is quiet, meaning it's a different culprit. The captain seems unsure if these kids can handle it, considering calling for backup. Cheng Chu smugly reminds Lu Jiji that he was right about there being a nest, but his expression suddenly shifts, his senses on high alert. His hand begins to glow as he announces his tracking spell is finally active. The scene shifts to a lively, traditional wedding ceremony. A happy couple stands at the center of the celebration, surrounded by falling petals. Lu Jiji questions if the fox demon will even show up, but Cheng Chu suggests they blend in and take a closer look. He finds a vantage point, watching the happy couple from a distance. He then uses a special technique to see beyond the surface. His eyes glow, piercing through any and all disguises. He focuses on the bride, who seems perfectly normal at first glance, but his power reveals a monstrous form lurking just beneath her skin. Cheng Chu smirks, confirming that he's finally found his prey. But Lu Jiji stops him, warning that they can't act with so many civilians around. He grabs her hand, pulling her away from the crowd with a new plan in mind. Lu Jiji is completely stunned by his sudden move. He explains they'll wait for the party to end and ambush the demon later. They find a room to wait, and Cheng Chi immediately finds some snacks. Lu Jiji scolds him for eating, but he claims he needs the energy. As night falls, they wait patiently outside the couple's room. The sounds from inside suggest the demon is wasting no time. But a sudden noise from the hallway puts them both on high alert. They scramble, looking for a place to hide from the approaching footsteps. Cheng-Chi realizes they're about to be caught, and they quickly duck behind a cabinet, hoping they weren't seen. A man corners a woman, revealing a twisted family dynamic. He carries her off into a private room, his intentions clear, and the door slams shut behind them. In the next room, Cheng-Chi and Lu Jiji are pressed against the door. Their close proximity creates a new kind of tension. They dive under the covers, hoping to remain unseen. Lu Jiji glares at him, whispering furiously as he tries to keep them hidden. Just then, the groom's brother enters the room they're hiding in. He's greeted by a different woman, who embraces him with a smile. The two share a moment, completely unaware they're being watched. Lu Jiji pinches his cheek, her patience clearly wearing thin. Her hand then moves lower, grabbing him with a firm grip. Before he can react, she pulls him into a sudden, unexpected kiss. Cheng-Chi is left completely flustered, his mind short-circuiting. In the other room, the groom's brother gets close to the woman he brought in. But her fangs appear as she vows to make him pay for his betrayal. She seems to go limp as he continues his advances. But the man is suddenly sent flying across the room by a powerful kick. The woman can only stare in shock, her fangs still bared. The groom stands in the doorway with a sinister smile, his brother now unconscious on the floor. He orders the demon to surrender, the game finally over. The woman's eyes widen in shock as she recognizes her pursuers. Her fury erupts, enraged that they've ruined her special day. She smashes through a wall to escape, and Cheng-Chi gives the order to chase. The demon flees across the rooftops in a blur of motion. But the two hunters are right on her tail, matching her speed. She looks back, cursing that she has to deal with both of them. The chase moves from the city rooftops into a dense forest. She finally lands, turning to face them as they catch up. She taunts them, apparently not afraid of the kids who just crashed her wedding. She calls out for her sisters to join the party. Her eyes glow with a feral, demonic energy, and from the trees another fox demon emerges, followed by a second and then a third. It seems this was a family affair all along. The original demon and her 4 sisters welcome their guests to the ambush. One of them notes that they have 2 more hunters than they expected, but Cheng-Chu just asks if they'll attack together or wait to be taken down one by one. The demons mock his bravado, offering him a different kind of fun instead. But the lead demon just scoffs, deciding he's chosen the hard way. But Cheng-Chu just scoffs, telling them he has no interest in them. The lead demon orders her sisters to attack, done with the pleasantries. Cheng-Chi moves in a blur, ready to meet their charge. He leaps into the air, descending upon the startled demons, and lands with a ground-shattering impact. His eyes are cold as he watches one of them stumble back. The lead demon notes his simple attack patterns, deciding to use enchantment. A pink mist begins to swirl around him as the demons circle. One of them lunges from the mist, claws extended for the kill, and her attack finds its mark, raking across his back. He follows up with a powerful kick, sending another one flying. The others can only stare in shock as their sister hits the ground. He moves with a speed they clearly didn't anticipate. His fist already glowing as he targets the next demon. He lands another solid blow, taking down a third sister. The lead demon is furious, realizing her enchantment was useless. One of them even questions if he's immune to their charms. A bold assumption. Cheng-Chi just smirks, telling them to surrender while they still can. But they decide that with superior numbers, they can still win. And with a unified shout, the remaining sisters charge in for the kill. He tells them that their numbers mean absolutely nothing to him. He uses one sister as a shield, taking down another. The last of the sisters falls to the ground, leaving only the leader, who can only stare in disbelief. She senses the overwhelming power gathering in his fist, as he prepares to deliver the final fatal blow. But just then, a flash of red cuts through the air, and a blade pierces his chest from behind, held by Lu Jiji. His blood drips to the forest floor as the betrayal sinks in. He can only whisper her name, his voice filled with disbelief. He demands to know what's wrong with her, completely stunned. But her eyes are cold and empty, a strange sigil glowing on her forehead. With a vicious tug, she rips the blade from his body. He stumbles forward, clutching the new wound in his chest. And in that moment, he realizes this is the fox demon's enchantment. The demons laugh, taunting him for his inexperience with their 3-day curse. He curses himself, realizing he was far too careless with the lingering spell. The demon wonders why he's immune, just as his arm begins to transform. And Lu Jiji attacks again, forcing him to block a strike from his own ally. Her eyes glow with a cold pink light, completely devoid of recognition. She brings her blade down again, slashing him across the shoulder. Chengchi can only curse, his frustration boiling over. The fox demons see their chance, urging each other to finish him off. They lunge in a flurry of attacks, forcing him to dodge. He knows he has to take out the lead demon to free Lu Jiji. With a burst of speed, he lunges past the others, his fist glowing. The lead demon confirms she's the one pulling the strings, and she uses Lu Jiji as a human shield, a smug grin on her face. Chengchi skids to a halt, unable to attack his own friend. The demon taunts him, daring him to strike through his own friend. Lu Jiji remains a puppet in her grasp, her eyes completely vacant. The demon's patience runs out, deciding that if he won't act, he'll die. And another vicious blow finds its mark, tearing through his back. His blood stains the forest floor as he stumbles from the impact. He's left facing the demons, wounded and completely outnumbered. But instead of crying out, a manic laugh escapes his lips. The lead demon admits she's surprised by his resilience. She never expected him to sacrifice so much for this girl. But through the haze of the spell, a single tear falls as Lu Jiji whispers his name. Her mind is trapped, but her heart is clearly fighting back. The demon decides to let Lu Jiji deliver the final blow herself. He can only watch as his friend raises her blade against him. She's led forward like a puppet, a weapon in the demon's hand. He wonders if this is how it all ends. But in a flash of movement, the blade finds a new target. The demon's eyes widen in pure, unadulterated shock. She looks down, unable to comprehend what just happened. Lu Jiji has broken the spell, now standing between the demon and Chengchi. With the curse broken, the demon falls, her power fading away. She looks at him, her eyes filled with a deep, pained regret. She collapses against him, whispering an apology for her actions. He can only stare, still trying to process the pain of her blade. She's completely overwhelmed with guilt, but he tries to reassure her. He even cracks a joke because priorities are clearly in order. On the ground, the lead demon's life force begins to fade away. She can only curse Lu Jiji for turning her own blade against her. The other sisters rush to their fallen leader's side. They're furious, vowing to avenge their sister's defeat. But with their leader down, they have no choice but to make a tactical retreat. But Lu Jiji stands before him, vowing that this time she'll be the one to protect him. She gathers her energy, preparing a profound form, unleashing a storm of crackling blue thunder swords. The remaining sisters counter with an enchantment of their own, a wall of pure repulsion. The two powerful techniques collide in a blinding flash of light. Her energy swords tear through the forest, a testament to her power. But one of the demons just scoffs, taunting her for being a low-level hunter. Her smug expression vanishes in an instant. They all sense a new, overwhelming power that wasn't there before. Even Lu Jiji is confused, wondering where this sudden fiery aura is coming from. It's coming from Chengchi, who rises with a fiery, golden aura. He declares that he can't let a girl fight his battles for him. He tells Lu Jiji to stand aside as a massive, fiery beast manifests behind him. The fox demons are stunned, wondering how a mere hunter can possess such power. He smirks, revealing the glowing markings on his arm and telling them he's no ordinary hunter. Their confidence shatters, and they make a desperate attempt to flee. But tendrils of golden flame erupt from his body, ensnaring them all. Lu Jiji recognizes the power, realizing he's using the Taoti's energy. The demons cry out in agony as he begins to drain their power. They realize that if they don't fight back, they'll be completely consumed. His eyes narrow with contempt as he scoffs at their threat. He explains that the Taoti's power is more than just absorption. With a crackle of energy, he clenches his fist, revealing it can also be released, and unleashes their own power back at them in a devastating blast. Lu Jiji-kan only stare, completely stunned by the overwhelming force. He stands with his back to her as the golden flames finally die down. The fox demons are left completely defeated on the forest floor. He turns with a smug grin, asking if she was impressed by his rescue. Her eye twitches, a deep blush spreading across her face. She tries to save face, but he just plays along, completely unfazed. He admits that she might have a point, but his sudden silence puts Lu Jiji on edge. She calls out his name as he suddenly collapses. Her victory is cut short by a wave of pure panic, and he hits the ground completely unconscious. She rushes to his side, desperately calling her father for help, but nearby one of the fox demons stirs. She reveals she used a second tail to survive the blast. As the blade she used to stab him clatters to the ground, she flees, vowing to report this power-absorbing hunter to her master. 2 hours later, the noodle shop is closed for the night. Back in their room, Cheng-Chi lies unconscious and heavily bandaged. Qing watches over him, asking Lu Qi-wan why he still hasn't woken up. He explains that Cheng-Chi was already hurt and absorbed far too much power. Lu Jiji clenches her fist, blaming herself for everything that happened. She believes if she hadn't been enchanted, he wouldn't be in this state. But her father tries to comfort her, suggesting they face no ordinary demons. He shows them the photo of the victim, revealing the mark of a 9-tailed fox. He explains this is a powerful demon that preys on a certain type of man, and once it sets its eyes on a target, their fate is sealed. He explains that once marked, the victim's life force is slowly drained away. As Qing worries over her brother, Lu Qi-wan admits he has a bad feeling, and for good reason, as a faint pink mark now glows on Cheng-Chi's cheek. Meanwhile, the pink-haired woman from the delivery is in the middle of a popular live stream. She thanks a generous fan for a donation as another woman waits in the background. With a final goodbye, she ends the stream for the day. But as soon as the camera is off, her human disguise flickers, revealing her true demonic nature. She scolds her visitor for daring to interrupt her broadcast. It's the surviving fox demon who grovels before her 9-tailed master, and is left to contemplate her failure for a very, very long time. The 9-tailed master scolds her subordinate for her utter failure, but she's intrigued by the description of a hunter who can absorb demon power. The fox demon reveals his name is Cheng-Chi. A flicker of recognition crosses the master's face, and she realizes it's the same delivery boy from before. She muses that she wondered how he could resist her, now understanding it was more than just innocence. Her eyes glow with a new resolve. Now, he absolutely has to die. But their villainous plotting is interrupted by another takeout delivery. The master quickly puts on a friendly face, telling them she's coming, and greets a new, completely oblivious driver at the door. The new driver is completely caught off guard, as the 9-tailed master pulls him into a deadly embrace. Her eyes glow with a predatory hunger. The delivery bag clatters to the floor as he goes limp. She hovers over her victim, draining his life force away. A stream of pink energy flows from him to her. With her snack finished, she announces it's time to meet their real target. Elsewhere, Cheng-Chi floats in a dark, empty void. He groans, clutching his head as he slowly regains consciousness. His eyes flutter open, completely disoriented. He calls out for Lu Jiji, wondering where he is, but a voice explains he's trapped inside his own mind. He turns to find the Taoti, demanding to know why it's here. The beast roars back, reminding him who's responsible for its imprisonment. It claims it saved him from the demon spirits he carelessly absorbed, but Cheng-Chi scoffs, calling its power useless, which enrages the beast. The Taoti explains its true power is to convert what it devours into strength, but its lecture is cut short as it senses a new presence. It seems some unwanted guests have followed him into his consciousness. The spirits of the fox demons he absorbed have manifested, and they're here for him. The Taoti tells him this is his problem to solve alone, but Cheng-Chi just clenches his fist, unafraid of a few ghosts. He tries to summon his power, but suddenly realizes he can't feel it. The Taoti casually mentions that his powers don't work here. Just as the spirits of the fox demons manifest around him, they lunge forward in a chorus of spectral rage. But Cheng-Chi defiantly shouts that he doesn't need his powers. He throws a punch, but his fist passes right through the ghostly form, and the spirit's counterattack sends him reeling backward. He's left completely stunned, realizing he can't even touch them. He wonders how he can possibly fight them without his powers. The Taoti offers a grim warning: figure it out or die for good. Back in the real world, a new group of visitors arrives at the Noodle shop. It's the 9-tailed master and her minions, their eyes glowing with malice. But Lu Qi-wan and his daughter are ready, unleashing their own techniques. The demons charge forward, straight into the waiting ambush, and are immediately met with a storm of crackling energy swords. Lu Jiji and her father stand ready, unimpressed by the uninvited guests. He gives the order to end this quickly, trusting his daughter to handle the rest. But the nine-tailed master unleashes a powerful counterattack of her own. Lu Jiji's eyes widen in disbelief. As the surviving fox demon blocks her attack with ease, the demon taunts her, revealing she's been empowered by her master, and unleashes a wave of pink enchanting energy. She laughs, mocking Lu Jiji for falling for the same trick twice. The blast sends Lu Jiji stumbling backward, seemingly overwhelmed. The demon promises that Cheng-Chi will soon follow her to the grave, but her victory speech is cut short by a blade piercing her chest. She can only stare, unable to believe Lu Jiji broke the enchantment. Lu Jiji reveals it was all an act to lure her in. Lu Jiji's eyes widen as she realizes who the demon's master is. She screams a desperate warning for her father to be careful. Lu Qiwan turns, alerted by the sudden cry, and realizes the nine-tailed master is right behind him. Her hand rests gently on his shoulder, before she pulls him into a deadly, enchanting embrace. He grits his teeth, trying to fight off her influence, but his body is completely frozen, unable to move. His hand falls limp, his strength failing him completely. The master scoffs, disappointed that he's just wasting her time. Lu Jiji screams in fury, demanding the demon let go of her father, but he warns her to stay back, knowing she's no match for this enemy. The nine-tailed master just waves a hand, unleashing a wave of pink energy. The blast sends Lu Jiji flying as her father cries out her name. The master turns away, bored by the lack of a challenge. She hopes the boy inside will offer a more exciting fight, but a blue energy sword flies past, a warning not to touch him. The master catches it with ease, surprised the girl is still standing. Lu Jiji stands ready, taunting the demon for her weak attack. The insult hits a nerve, her expression turning absolutely murderous. The master's hand clenches, her fury finally unleashed. Lu Jiji's eyes widen in pure shock. As the demon appears right behind her in a flash, she lunges, enraged by the young hunter's disrespect. But Lu Jiji summons her blue thunder swords to resist. The two powerful techniques collide in the street. The master taunts her, calling her a foolish child. Lu Jiji struggles to hold her ground against the overwhelming force, but her defenses are shattered in an instant. Her father can only scream her name as she's thrown aside. Lu Jiji digs her heels in, refusing to back down. She summons her remaining strength, her eyes burning with defiance. The nine-tailed master feigns sympathy for their bond. Before revealing it only makes her sick with disgust. With a furious scream, she lunges forward to end it. Lu Jiji braces for the final, overwhelming impact. She wanted to be the one to protect him, but she's reached her limit. But the demon is suddenly sent flying by a powerful blast. She looks back in shock, demanding to know who interfered. It's Cheng-Chi, now awake and holding Lu Jiji in his arms. Lu Jiji can only stare, his name a whisper on her lips. He offers a casual apology for being late to the party. The scene flashes back to just a few minutes before. Trapped in his mind, he realizes he's about to be overwhelmed by the fox spirits. But the Taoti's words echo, explaining its power to transform what it devours. As another spirit lunges, he thinks about that word. Transform, a sudden realization dawns in his eyes. He's been trying to fight them, but that was never the answer. With a confident smirk, he declares that he finally understands. Instead of fighting, he stomps his foot, beginning to absorb their power for himself. He reaches out, deciding to devour their power. The fox spirits are drawn toward him in a torrent of energy. He tries to wield their demonic power directly, but the Taoti warns him that's not the right way. Its power isn't so simple to master. The beast admits that its power is a bit complex, and in that moment, Cheng-Chi finally understands. The fox spirits cry out as they're consumed by a golden flame. He can't use their power, but he can transform it into his own. The Taoti then warns him that his friends are in real danger. He screams at the Taoti, demanding to be sent back immediately. The beast points to a glowing gate, his only exit from this mental prison. As he sprints for the door, the Taoti asks him to save it some leftovers. The beast watches him go, stunned that he mastered its power so quickly, but it knows that this newfound strength is still not enough. The fiery figure agrees, warning that time is running out for them both. Back in the real world, he stands with Lu Jiji, facing the nine-tailed master. He tells her to get to safety, knowing she's in no condition to fight. The demon mocks their bond, and they both immediately deny being a couple. But Lu Jiji refuses to leave, vowing to fight by his side. Lu Jiji warns him that the demon can drain their power directly. The nine-tailed master just licks her lips, enjoying the challenge. She reveals she knows all about his abilities and has a special gift prepared, and unleashes a flurry of pink spectral fox spirits. The spirits immediately ensnare the two hunters, who are caught completely off guard. Lu Jiji can only scream in fury at the demon's underhanded tactics, but the master explains these puppets are made of pure souls, immune to his absorption. She admits she's not a fighter, but a master of cunning and enchantment. Shang-Chi is horrified that she would turn her own kind into weapons, but the demon just scoffs, calling them lowly tools beneath her. Classy. She promises to savor him, unlike the others she's consumed. On the ground, Lu Qiwan can only scream his name in terror. The master's eyes glow, demanding he become a part of her power. Lu Jiji can only watch in horror, screaming for her to stop. The demon moves in, attempting to drain his life force directly. But a golden energy flows from him, a power she can't contain. A massive fiery beast manifests from within him, and she recoils in shock. Her eyes widen, completely stunned by this hidden power. She cries out as the untamed energy courses through her. But he grabs her arm, a smirk on his face as he declares that she's finally caught. She chokes on the feedback, realizing he let her attack on purpose. The profound power she thought she was draining from him suddenly erupts in a cloud of pink smoke, leaving Shang-Chi confused. He's left holding nothing but a severed, fluffy tail. The nine-tailed master flees, vowing to eat him alive for the insult. But she stops, holding up her phone with a sinister smile. She claims he's forced her to unleash her true power. Revealing her live stream is how she drains her fans' life force. As Lu Jiji screams a warning, Cheng-Chu compresses his own energy and unleashes it in a desperate attempt to stop her from powering up. But his attack is just a slow-moving ball of green energy. The nine-tailed master just scoffs, declaring that it's far too late. Across the city, her fans are unknowingly drained of their life force. Their energy flows toward her, a tribute to their favorite streamer. Her body contorts and swells, her demonic power growing with every second. Her eyes burn with a murderous red light as she vows to kill them both. But Cheng-Chu just smirks, telling her she's missed one person in her count. He reveals his attack was never meant to hit her, leaving the demon completely confused. From the ground, Lu Qiwan unleashes a binding technique of his own, and the nine-tailed master is suddenly ensnared by a powerful gust of wind. The nine-tailed master realizes she should have finished Lu Qiwan when she had the chance. He thanks Cheng-Chi for returning his profound power. Cheng-Chi leaps forward, vowing to return the stolen life force to its rightful owners. He slams his hand into her face, a strange device glowing on his palm. The blow sends her reeling, her power-up completely interrupted. With the demon weakened, Cheng-Chi calls upon the Tao Tie. The fiery beast manifests, roaring that it's finally time to eat. The nine-tailed master can only scream as the massive spirit descends. The Tao Tie lets out a satisfied burp as Cheng-Chi scolds its table manners. With the battle over, Cheng-Chi thanks Lu Jiji for her help. She looks away, claiming she was just repaying him for an earlier favor. Their playful argument echoes through the empty street. Just then, Qing and Molin finally arrive on the scene. Cheng-Chu gives his sister a confident wave, telling her he's fine, but his casual attitude earns him a furious lecture about making her worry. Her anger is clearly just a mask for her overwhelming relief. Cheng-Chi then turns his frustration on Molin, demanding to know why he didn't help. The kid is clearly not happy about being left to fight the final boss alone, but the Guardian just stares back, completely unfazed by his outburst. But their argument is cut short by a leaf flying through the air, and the group finds themselves facing two new arrivals. The Demon Hunter messengers are back with another urgent assignment. Cheng-Chu complains, asking if he can get even a moment's rest. Meanwhile, a cloaked figure soars over the city skyline. He senses that an ancient beast, the nine-tailed fox, has just died. A tiger-masked demon dismisses the news, focused on a more important task. He and his partner are here to find the two people their lord is looking for. Their mission is simple: find their targets and erase them from the world. He wonders why such powerful agents are needed for two little devils. The cloaked figure warns his partner not to underestimate them. He holds up photos of the two siblings, declaring he's eager to see this power for himself. Elsewhere, a scream echoes through a dark alley. A young woman is cornered by a monstrous wolf-like demon. She begs for it to stay away, her voice filled with terror. But the beast just taunts her, promising no one will come to her rescue, just as a streak of golden light cuts through the darkness. The girl can only stare, completely stunned by the sudden intervention, and the blast slams directly into the demon's head. The demon roars in fury, demanding to know who interrupted its meal. A voice from the shadows asks if it really wants to know who they are, and Cheng-Chu introduces himself, flanked by his sister and Lu Jiji.